We're talking about mortgages and other things such as that. If the property is big enough, maybe the politicians should focus on put their heads together on some way to save the mortgages and no more foreclosure. So save the mortgage, no more foreclosure. Maybe if the property is big enough, maybe they could split the property up and keep the people in their house and give them a piece of property or enough and estimate what the people can afford, but don't kick nobody out of their house anymore without being able to assure them to go to a place where they can afford after the bank helps them to sell their house to get them into another house. So instead of foreclosing on people's houses, politicians and politics need to make it basically firm. You know, stand your ground on your civil rights movement bill or whatever your political correctness stuff we need to focus on. But um, that's how I came up with this idea. It was like, I was probably hearing something about um, the houses. Probably, I don't even think it had anything to do with people being kicked out of their house or foreclosed or anything like that. What did make me think of this is the fact that so many people were kicked out of their house. And that's one thing that is not mentioned very much. That it wasn't Bush and Obama. Obama especially could only have helped the economy to be declined to where it is now by wasting so much money and not doing a budget on purpose so that it would head towards bankruptcy. America's economy, anyways, on purpose. It was a housing bubble crisis that I don't ever forget. I keep remembering what the real deal was. It was a private thing, not even the government. And what screwed our economy over in the first place was banks being allowed to give um, loans to people, many people, and a lot of people took their own lives and lost their homes and went into major debt. Have that part of their history now because of greedy people who, even though they ended up foreclosuring, these other people stood to make and gain billions of dollars and they didn't lose out. A lot of other people did. And then people's property declined in property value. They tried to make the value of everybody's houses, I'm going to say it, shit. They tried to make it equivalent to shit, a pile of shit. So, um, what I'm saying now is save the mortgage. Even if the government forced them to reconstruct a new loan for the people altogether, um, restructure the thing where they're at and put it into perspective and give them some grace, forgiveness time too, for not paying their bill or whatever. But make the banks focus on making the people end up paying the debt off. You know, whatever it is, make them structure a type of deal that the people wouldn't pass up either. They would um, be enticed to um, go that far. And if they don't, like I said, don't foreclose the place. Work with the people to sell the place while they're there. Don't put it on the people at all, even if they're morons and they're stupid about the whole thing and they just don't get it and they're just completely stupid when it comes to paying bills and whatever else. They're given every opportunity benefit in the world to pay their house and a mortgage wherever they're at, to make it a reasonable price too, and don't allow and make it illegal for them to make $130,000 to $20,000 house or $80,000 house just because it's in California be sold for $800,000. And when people go by to look at it, they're only asking $800,000. You know, they're like glad they're not asking for $1 million, thinking that they're gonna ask for $1 million for this $80,000 house. Things need to be focused on and structured from the government, so they're still allowing creeps to get away with this. And after the Bush tax cuts, I could give you examples. If I was the government, I could give you examples of everybody what they did with the money. I don't even have to have Tide or any of these corporations or businesses do that for me. I could do it for them in an amount like a day or two. If I was the government, I could put all that statistics together and I could show people who cheated the government, the Bush tax cuts, and who actually um, grew and expanded their product for us, like they were supposed to make their product better, or hired more employees, built more businesses, made more opportunity for people in 10 years with the Bush tax cuts. So we let that expire. And everybody knew that was going to expire, but what it was for also for an example for me to be able to, as a government, if I were, I could show you, within a, meaningless, I mean, a small amount of time that it would take me to, it would take hardly any time at all on my part if I were the government to show you 10 years of who got the tax cuts, what they did with it. I mean, elaborate on what they all did with the money in particular, so everybody could get to my other extreme, which I think is very American thing to do is boycott. So if somebody pisses you off, pisses us off as a country, and they make us mad, we boycott them. I refuse to go in that store. I refuse to look up that website. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to go along with this anymore. This is ludicrous and it's absurd. Save the mortgage. No more foreclosures. Help the people get to where they can get into a place in trade. Make the banks work to trade these places off for the people. If they miss their mortgage and the bank sees, they're starting to miss all these mortgages, don't allow the banks anymore if you're serious about helping people, saving America, fixing the system, doing what's right by people. You know, don't allow people to sell $80,000 houses for $1 million anymore, or more than $80,000 from what it's cost, and don't make them go to sell it for $60,000 either. If it's worth $80,000, it's $80,000 house. You know, and these other things don't kick people out of their houses. Don't foreclose on them. Save the mortgage so that you pass the mortgage on to somebody else. Work on that with the housing part first, so people aren't out on the streets or looking for a place to live or whatever. And then we'll start doing that with people's credit cards and their credit debt too. So what we'll do is we'll force the credit card companies to go talk to these people whenever they're in debt. We'll give them the opportunity still to go into bankruptcy or to file bankruptcy. But in the meantime, if they acquire a debt and they're not paying it, they should have the people come and talk to them and not be rude or anything like that. It can kind of be a little annoying. Maybe it's meant to annoy the people that borrowed the money from the people holding the debt, or whatever you'd say that. They're saying, but they're not trying to be offensive when they show up. It's just annoying that they do. So that's part of it. You want people to know that they're going to be a little bit annoyed if they go and blow money on a credit card that they don't have to pay for the credit card, or if they were intending to get the credit card, to just go blow a bunch of credit card debt and not pay for it. So for me, I'm used to spending a lot on credit card and going too far, and I don't know my limits basically. So um, I would be kind of like in that category, but I'm still able to probably file bankruptcy uh, because I had um, not ever tried to, you know, act like I was just racking up debt just so I wouldn't pay for it. I have a history of racking up debt, like I said, and paying it off actually. So, there's no telling, what people have to do, but you need to pass these things off, pass the debt off, and that last little bit where I was talking about there, having the people that gave you the loan come and talk to you. They're just coming to talk to you maybe one time, you know, um, to try to figure out a way that you can pay the debt off, whatever it takes to pay it off in your favor, though. So it's a conversation you'll want to have because it'll bypass going to court and all that other stuff that people can personally come and negotiate, a payment. You can pay them or pay them off or whatever. So people can do that and stuff. But I think it's creepy that people are going bankrupt. They're being put into a position of bankruptcy, foreclosures, losing their mortgage, and other things that are not beneficial for them. And I have a hard time to believe that if it's beneficial for us, that it's not beneficial for the banks because they're going to be getting some kind of money payment and they're going to be paid to the amount of debt that is agreed to, what they agreed for the person to pay, or whatever the debt was. They're going to get their money regardless, instead of a house getting demolished or somebody filing bankruptcy or being forced to be put in that situation. It's got to be completely beneficial for the people and not for the banks. As soon as it turns around and it's honest and it's good for people so that they can pay um, standing debts off, all of their debts, then um, it will actually begin to work the way it's supposed to, also in favor for the banks and helping people to reestablish what I also think, in my opinion, their credit, you know, and definitely go after hackers because this all goes into the stuff that I'm talking about today. Uh, right about to this point right here goes together. My first three videos. And then the next couple aren't about any of this stuff. It's a little controversial stuff. We'll see. Thanks.